with Richard Ahiagbah. He is Director of Communications of the NPP. Let's go into the phone lines and get his reaction. Good evening to you, Mr. Ahiagbah, and thank you for joining us on Eyewitness News. This is the allegation the former President John Dramani Mahama has leveled against your party. He says that in 2018, when he attended the National Independence Day parade in Tamale, he was made to sit in a certain corner, and then when party members saw him, they sort of ridiculed him. I want to first find out from you if this indeed happened in Tamale.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity, and good evening to your listeners. I don't recall any such arrangements. The very last time I think I saw the former president's appearance was scheduled to be at the National, I'm not sure if it's Tamale or somewhere else, that he didn't show up. His seat was placed next to former President Kufuor's seat. He wouldn't sit anywhere obscure. He would sit where the former President Kufuor would have sat. And so I'm not too sure. Tamale was 2019. I don't have any evidence of that. He's not said it up until now. But what I can sum this up to be is that the former president is just finding all excuses to explain away why he didn't show up at the celebration today in the Volta region and the previous ones that he failed to show up. It's most unfortunate because if you go to the Volta region only to harvest vote, just recently you went there to launch your campaign, and then the people of Volta region haven't had opportunity in a series of regions hosting the independence anniversary. And he just left there a few days ago. He couldn't show up, if for nothing at all, for the people of the Volta region, whose chiefs and elders were assembled today to celebrate the effort of the president to drive inclusive governance, to achieve inclusive development by making sure that the national celebration of 6th March moves from region to region, and now Volta region's turn. You only are interested in going to the Volta region for votes, but never interested in celebrating anything with the people of Volta region. I'm actually making this point to you because I'm from that region, and I see this celebration this year in the Volta region as a unique opportunity to settle the running narrative where people say, oh, NPP doesn't like Volta region, or the kind of things that go on, things to do with the Volta Togoland and the rest of it. And one effective action of bringing all of Ghana's national celebration of its independence, including, the anniversary being there, demonstrating that this is effectively part of this country. So that those who are running with a narrative saying that somehow Volta region does not belong to Ghana, even though it's a preposterous assumption by some, goes further to affirm that for those who are in doubt, and you cannot celebrate to the people. This excuse, for me, with respect, I like former President Mahama very much as a person, but these excuses are becoming one too many. And this one, very flippant to say, with all respect, that he was put in an obscure place, the party people ridiculed him. Why would anybody ridicule the former president? NPP were not unruly political party. Now, if NPP people attend national independence celebration, is that out of the norm? Is that why he would not attend? So should it be that, in the unlikely event, NDC forms a government someday, and they are organizing their national independence celebration, some people should not come? I mean, I find it very difficult. If you say you are not going to come, it's different. But these excuses are becoming one too many. I don't think that there's any justification for it. You can just say plain and simple that I do not want to be there. I don't want to come. It's right. You can choose not to come. But in the spirit of forging one country, in the interest of advancing oneness and ensuring that, yes, even though we are multiple tribes and ethnic groups, we form a country and we are one indeed, bind together as a country, you cannot begin to create these things and try to make it appear as if somebody is chasing you away and trying to create a political division amongst us to say that because NPP people are there, you are not going to come. Then where is he going to go? I mean, is he going to possibly hoping to be president for only NDC people, so that when he organizes national independence in the unlikely event, an NDC government comes in, he won't allow anybody but NDC persons to come? Is that what the former president is saying? I think he should just take a break from these comments and just let it be. If he's not going to be there, not be there. But I find it very unacceptable as a person from the Volta region, from whose backyard he just went in Cape South the last time to go have a campaign event and not to show up in an occasion where we are happy as a people that we are hosting the country in the Volta region to celebrate Ghana's 66th independence anniversary. I find it very unacceptable. And I think that with respect, the former president should just leave it alone. These excuses don't help him.
So is your point to suggest that the former president is actually breaking his silence because this year's event was taken to the Volta region and then he didn't attend, and so he wants to find an excuse, as you say, to justify why he has always been absent from the event?
Absolutely. You know, you go to the same people to say that. I mean, I remember listening on their campaign, platform. He brought it to Volta region because Volta region supports, or one of the biggest bloc that supports the NDC. But you can't celebrate with those people. The occasion for them to host the country, to celebrate the 66th anniversary of this country. I find it very ironic. And the excuses, I think, he's given, he should find a better excuse. This idea that he was put obscure place in Tamale. Tamale was 2019, many years ago. All right? Did he complain that he was put in an obscure position? Did he make a formal complaint to which we would say that, yes, he did, and therefore people should have done something different? And if he had done any complaint about that, there would have been a response. And if that response was not favorable, then he has a basis to say so. But to refer to 2019, and we're in 2023, for God's sake, and you just decide to abandon the people of the Volta region, where you're going to get a bulk of your vote from, at least from other places, but you are relying on that place to give you vote. And on a moment where we are celebrating the privilege and the very unique decision to go around this country, and I want all other regions to host it because it brings a little bit of us coming together, understanding and learning, and it actually helps build a local economy as well, if you want to include that. But the occasion for us to bond together as a people, set aside politics for one day, and then come together under the national color and say, we are Ghanaians. That occasion, the former president missed it today, and to explain it away with these with respect, very flimsy excuse of him being put in a corner somewhere in 2019, which he didn't complain about, I find it very objectionable. I don't think that he's taking that seriously, especially as someone from the Volta region. I don't take it. I take a little bit of offense to that.
Well, in that 2019 celebration that you reference, you say that the former president was given a seat that was close to former President John Agyekum Kufuor, and then John Dramani Mahama decided to sit at that obscure place you mentioned. Wasn't there any deliberate attempt to move him from that obscure position to the seat that was given him on the days? Wasn't that done?
No, I didn't say that he was supposed to sit with former president. I was just saying that if he was invited, he would have been given a VIP place to sit.
So is that to say he wasn't invited at all?
No, just please follow me. I said that a 2019 event in Tamale, I don't recall where he sat, so much that to say that it was an obscure position. But I was just trying to draw an inference for you to say that a VIP in his standing will not be put in an obscure place. I don't remember a day where a former president is invited and put in an obscure place. But be that as it may, if he was put in an obscure position, because I don't recall, if he's put in an obscure position where he felt that party people who are Ghanaians, I don't know why he was able to distinguish that they were party people, but if he felt that some people were unruly toward him, he didn't make any complaint about that. As a former president, he deserves all the protocol that must go with his office. So if something went wrong, which I don't know it did, I would better on any day say that he didn't, but just give him the benefit of the doubt. If that happened, did he make any complaint about it? We didn't hear him say anything about that. We didn't hear him say anything about that. So I'm saying that if that had happened, then he should have complained about it. But that cannot be a basis where you actually abandon the celebration of national independence. Because you know what we do on 6 March every year is to reenact, to go into history and see the mindset in which our forebears actually assumed the fight to liberate us from the control of the colonial masters. So it is a reenactment, reorientation of the country to say that let's take on a new leaf. We take on an anniversary. You know, like how every new year you make a resolution, we are going to do ABCD. That's what this represents for us. So to have that and a former leader of the country exclude himself, for me, it's a big deal. I don't know what will go through my mind as a former president if I stayed away from that, because that is the one moment that is granted as nationhood. When we are here today, whatever party we belong to, we are here because of that singular occurrence in our history, that we are a country today. That celebration should be a big deal for a president. If you miss it, these excuses cannot suffice. And they cannot be that you are put in some obscure position. And so the former president has protocol. He has officers in his office who would have accompanied him and the protocol of the day. So his people would have spoken about this. We've not heard anything about this until today. I, for one, have not heard that he was put in a difficult situation. No. So I was telling you earlier that the last time I saw he didn't show up. Actually, today I saw the picture circulated on social media where his seat was next to former President Kufuor. His name was labeled on it, but he didn't show up. I don't think that they'll put President Kufuor in an obscure place, and they'll put him and President Kufuor in an obscure place from what I saw. So this is just an excuse for abandoning the people of the Volta region, and so therefore he's finding an excuse to say that was the reason why he left. He didn't show up. He left the Volta region about a couple of days ago, and he didn't show up, and he's just finding this to be an excuse. I think the former president should do better. And maybe subsequently just attend, because this thing will take away from you. I have the view that there is a way you can actually support a government in power and take credit for it. Go there, let the Ghanaian people see that solidarity. That is good for the peace of our country. It's good for the united image that we must project to the world, that yes, we have our political discussions we'll have in-house, but we are Ghanaians first of all. That is essential. And if after you give a speech that you love this country dearly in the Volta region, you vote from the region and don't attend the 65th anniversary in the Volta region.
You mentioned that there was a point you realized that the former president was invited, but he didn't attend. But quickly, that wasn't even his only point. He also mentioned that the whole event has been made political. We see that a lot of party folks are buzzed into the various centers as a result, as he plainly stated, that has been made a party jamboree. But even aside from that, I just want to find out from you if you can confirm to us if the former president, John Dramani Mahama, was invited for this year's event, which took place in Ho a while ago.
I cannot say or confirm absolutely, but then there will be no world in which I can imagine that him as a former president would not be invited. If he wasn't invited, he would have said it in his comment that he wasn't invited, and so he didn't attend. And because he did not deny it, means that he was invited, he just chose not to attend. His spokespersons may be listening. If they were invited or not, they can confirm that for us, but I cannot possibly imagine a world in which we have a national celebration of our independence and the former president will not be invited. But the point of, making it a party jamboree, I don't really know what the former president is talking about. It's Ghanaians. Ghanaians were celebrating. So it is that when we're celebrating a national independence day, nobody should come, and the people who come, they are party people. I mean, that's, like I'm saying, that's really just the former president pushing the envelope too hard to find an excuse. You can't find any legitimate excuse. And then this one is just one of those that was available in the speaking. He just doesn't support and make his case stronger. I think he can do better.
All right. We are grateful. That's Richard Ahiagbah. He is Director of Communications for the governing New Patriotic Party.